Hey everybody, welcome to the new episode of the Roommate Debate on the DM Sports Talk Network. Um, I'm Dan Martinez, your host, and this is my co-host Joey Menta, of course. Um, on our newest episode, the biggest thing is the NBA is back. I mean, starts back July 31st now is the plan. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be weird because it's very, very summer and fall NBA before there's even a new season. Um, But I mean, it's something to keep us occupied because there's no other sports, and baseball can't seem to find their own ass with two hands. Um, so I guess we'll just start with the start bench cut from there. Um, but first, I mean, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Pretty good weekend this weekend. It was very warm outside. Great day to go outside and work or exercise, do whatever. Very warm out. Love the weather. It's getting nice out, and coronavirus is starting to go away. We're in the yellow phase. Everything's starting to come. Like some restaurants are opening up. Doing outside dining. It just seems like everything's coming back together. It's nice. The
Yeah,
world's slowly reaching back together. I think we're gonna go back to school in the fall. I think everything's gonna turn out to be good in about a month, I
yeah,
say.
yeah. I'm excited for that. Finally getting back to normalcy a little bit.
Yeah, for
Um, Hopefully we'll get back to school um, on time. But for now, we just got this in summer, so might as well just have fun with it.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we'll start from the NBA world since that's the only sport that's coming back as of now. And for our first start bench cut, we have a point guard group. One of them on one of the worst contracts ever. Still an extreme talent, just hasn't been healthy. Um, the other, a little bit unhealthy. Still a great player. Weird leader. No one really knows what his deal is. And the other, just a pure talent. So we got Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard, and John Wall. Um, so for me, my order is clear. I don't know about you though.
Yeah.
I I'm
Uh,
starting Lillard. I think we can both agree with that. Yeah.
yep.
Um, Damian Lillard is just he's so good in so many ways. It's not like he's a perfect defender, but he makes up for it on the offensive side of the ball. He's just so dynamic, great shooter, great scorer. One of the most clutch players in the entire NBA. Somebody that every team would want and every team would love to have, no matter who their starting point guard is. Um, but just such an amazing all-around player, and just his pure leadership ability on that team, I think, automatically puts him over Kyrie. And so I think I'm gonna start Lillard automatically. Um, it's not as easy for me between John Wall and Kyrie. I think like their talents are so different. Kyrie's more of a ball handler, scorer. John Wall's more of a speedy, get to the rim type of guy. He can shoot a little bit. It's not perfect. We also haven't seen him play in a while, so we have no idea what he's going to be like when he comes back. But word is he might be back when the NBA comes back, so that would be huge.
That would be great.
That would be amazing
They're
to
not in
finally see him
playoffs,
back.
are they? Are they? Would they be?
I think they were invited back. I think so. I think they're the 9 seed in the East right now.
Thank you, Bradley Beal.
Exactly. But how about you for your start bench cut?
Okay. Yeah. So we're looking at three different kinds of talent. You got one guy. You got John Wall, who's a speed demon. Hard to track down on both ends of the court. He's really fast. Then you got a guy who's just got great skills like handles. Passing, scoop layups, just all that. And Kyrie. And then you just got Dame, who's just a better all around point guard in pretty much all categories combined. He's got the best all around game. So I'm agree with you. I'm going to start Damian Lillard. I think he's the best all-around point guard out of all three of them. He is one of the most clutch players in the NBA. He's let alone himself won two playoff series on his own shot. That was like a deep shot, so he can hit those deep range threes to win games, even a playoff series. Um, you know, um, it's hard for him this year to get his team to the playoffs. There's not much he can do. But even though he's averaging nearly 30, I'm pretty sure he's averaging 29. He's a great player. Led his team to the Western Conference Finals last year and got stopped by the Warriors. So I'm going to take him as my starter. I'm going to bench Kyrie. I think Kyrie, again, I'm going to keep saying this, one of the most skilled players we've ever seen in the NBA from the point
Right
guard
there with you.
position. His leadership has shown that it's just not there. He's a locker room cancer. It
Mhm.
showed on the Celtics. But I really like his game. And, I'm going to go back, won an NBA championship with LeBron. So that really helps his case. So when he's healthy, he's pretty unstoppable. And then I am going to cut John Wall. I'm not trying to look at his health right now. I'm trying to keep that out of it, but I just don't think he's better than Kyrie or Dame. Very fast, very athletic. I think he's a top 5 point guard if he's healthy, but hasn't been healthy in 2 years. I don't think he's played in like 2 years.
Mhm.
I feel like you got to cut him right now, but even when he is healthy, I would still cut him. But he still has great speed. He's been great ever since he's got hurt. So
Mhm. Yeah, I completely agree. Um, all three amazing talents, some of the best point guards we've seen in our life, um, and in such a huge crop of amazing players and point guards that we've seen. These three definitely stand out as guys who are underrated, overrated, talked about a lot in a lot of different lights. Because I feel like those three, nobody really knows where to put them, just because Dame wins games up until the point where he plays the huge teams, and then he just doesn't seem like he can get over the hump.
Mhm.
But he's able to be the guy on his team, unlike Irving, who I think needs a better player than him on that team in order for them to really succeed. And then John Wall can be the guy, but he can't stay healthy, and it's obviously hurt his career, and it's hurt the Wizards
Big time.
for so many years with that huge contract he signed. I saw that post that was saying he got paid $79 million or something the last 2 years,
No,
playing
isn't
zero games.
it's
He's played 0 games and
been
has made
like
$79.2 million.
it's been almost 2 years, I think.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, great player. He deserved the contract. I don't know if he deserved that much, but he definitely deserved the contract
He's
with the way he was playing
yeah.
if he's healthy. But I mean, it's just been a mystery as to why he can't stay on the court.
I don't know. It's been
No.
interesting.
But on from going from a league that finally figured it out on how to get back to a league that has zero clue what they're doing when it comes
I
to
know.
getting back on the field.
We
It's
gotta
such a mess in the MLB.
we gotta
Our
get it back.
favorite league. I mean, you and me absolutely adore watching baseball. I mean, we watch it all the time, whether it's a regular season game with two terrible teams or playoffs. I mean, we're watching it nonstop, and they just can't seem to bring it back. I mean,
I
there are so many minor leaguers losing their jobs. Um, and instead of fixing it, I mean, these guys are just like the Players Association proposed their plan, it got shot down, and now the MLB has said that it's basically either their plan or bust, or like no season this year. And I'm really hoping they'll just accept their plan. I think it's 75% pay in a 75 game season or something like that. It's something around there.
Yeah,
Um,
a lot of pitchers, a lot of people aren't liking that. It seems like.
yeah, I know Blake Snell came out and was really pissed off about it. He was saying how he wouldn't
And
do that at all.
Harper agreed with him.
Yeah. And then there's the vets like Chipper Jones who was coming out and basically saying like stop bitching, you're being paid to do this, to play the game you love, like you're lucky enough to be on that field, to just take the chance. I mean, you're there for the fans and you're there for the love of the game, not just for the money.
Mhm.
So, but in the baseball world, there are three amazing career pitchers, three who have been on the face of baseball for 10 plus years each. Um, you have Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, and Clayton Kershaw in their prime. I think there's one guy who's a step above the other two.
Way up there.
I'm,
You want me to
I'm
start?
yeah, you start because I think we might
Yeah,
have different, or at least
maybe.
different reasons.
I mean, I hope you would start Clayton Kershaw.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not even close, actually.
Mhm.
Not even close. He's one of the best pitchers we've seen ever.
Mhm.
He's a 3-time Cy Young winner and an MVP. He's
Mhm.
on, he's also a 5-time ERA title, which is very impressive. So he's won the pitching title 5 times. Um,
Yes. He's amazing.
His career ERA is 2.45. He just he's been one of the best pitchers we've ever seen in this generation. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
he has a tendency to choke in the playoffs, but that's really his only downside that he has to him. Other than that, I mean, he is just incredible. He has every stat to back it up. 3 Cy Youngs, an MVP. He's 169 and 74 for his career win-loss. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like you got to start Clayton Kershaw. And then we might differ on this, but I know in terms of career, Justin Verlander's had the better career, but I really think Max Scherzer is a better pitcher than him. I think he's more dominant when he comes on the mound.
Completely agree at times. Yeah.
I think he's one of the biggest threats in terms of strikeouts because he delivers a lot of Ks. So I'm gonna bench Max Scherzer. Okay, he's also a 3-time Cy Young winner, 2 in the National League, and then 1 in the American League, which is pretty impressive, I think. And he's also been in the running the last 2 years with in 2018, 2019. So he is absolutely tremendous. He also has good stats too. He's got a 3.2 career ERA, almost at 3,000 strikeouts. I think he's going to get there soon. And 170 wins and 89 losses for his career is just insane. One of the best, another future Hall of Famer, along with Kershaw, of course. And then sadly, I would bench Justin Verlander. I think it's extremely close. I think Scherzer's a little bit better of a pitcher. You know, Verlander's a 2-time Cy Young, a World Series champion, even though they cheated. MVP of the American League Championship Series against the Yankees. So that's really impressive. He's an 8-time All-Star. He also holds an ERA title. But his win-loss record just really isn't there compared to the others. And his ERA is the highest out of all 3 of them. But he's had a tremendous career as well. So
oh yeah, big time.
I would have to bench Justin Verlander. What about you?
Yeah. So I'm starting Clayton Kershaw right out of the bat. He's unbelievable. He's just an amazing pitcher. He's led the league 5 times in ERA. He's led the league in win percentage once as a pitcher. He's been in the top 5 multiple times. He's led the league in wins 3 times. He's led the league in games started twice, complete games twice, shutouts 3 times, innings pitched a time, 3-time strikeout leader, 4-time ERA plus leader, 2-time FIP leader, 4-time WHIP leader in a row. He's been amazing. He won an MVP. He's won 3 Cy Youngs, and he won 3 of them in 4 years. He was an All-Star for 7 straight years, and then he was injured, and he got an All-Star the next year after that. The crazier stat is he's been in the league for 12 years. He's only had an ERA of over 3 twice. The only 2 times he did was his rookie year when he had a 4.26 in 22 games at 20 years old, which isn't horrible. And then he had a 3.03 last year at 31 years old, and that's barely over 3. Every other year, he's been under 3. 3 times he's been under 2, and all 3 of those times they were under 1.85, which is just insane. I mean, that's not something you see from a lot of pitchers. He's just been so good so long, and for me, I mean, the playoff issue is obviously something that's not great for you, but he hasn't been that bad. He just hasn't been himself, and that's where like it looks so bad because we're used to Clayton Kershaw being a 2 ERA guy, not a 4.3, and 4.3 isn't terrible. It's not good, but it's an average major league pitcher, and I mean he's had a few series in the playoffs where he's been himself, but problem is on the bigger stages he seems to struggle a little bit more to make it longer in games. So if that's the only knock on him, that's amazing. He's been 12 years of being in that. For me, I still count him as one of the best pitchers in baseball. I mean, if you're going downward,
put him in the top 5 right now as we speak. Top 5 pitcher.
I might put him at 5.
I don't.
Mainly because I mean his bad year last year was 16-5 with a 3.03, And the year before that, he was injured, but the year before that, he had a 2.31 and was 18-4. So it's not like he's been bad. He just hasn't been the 1-7 guy with 21 wins.
He's just not. I don't think he's himself anymore.
He's
Bouncing
not the
off that.
same guy he was, but he's
Trust me,
older. I mean, it's
If we're
understandable.
talking about in his prime, he's the best. But right now, it's really hard to put him in my top 5 for pitchers. It is. I got him. If he's not 5, I got him at like 6 or 7. Dan, there's a young star coming up on his team that look, I still think Clayton Kershaw is the best pitcher on the Dodgers. But I'm telling you, I think after next year, I think we're going to be
Walker
saying something.
Buehler is going to be unbelievable.
I really think Walker Buehler is going to take the throne. I'm still going to say Kershaw better, but I think it's very close right now just because of I think Kershaw is just getting a little old, not really, pitching as a top 5 pitcher, and Walker Buehler is a young stud.
For me, the NL has 4 of the top 5 pitchers for me.
Yeah, you got DeGrom, you got Scherzer, you got
I think DeGrom, Scherzer, Flaherty.
You think Flaherty is top 5 pitcher in baseball?
I would put Flaherty at 4. I would put DeGrom, Scherzer, Cole.
Okay.
And then
no, Verlander.
As a personal,
he was amazing. He's still great.
I would put Verlander at 6. I think because he's older than the other guys. I don't see him continuing that.
Like 5, but you can't take him out of the top 5 yet. He's still pitching really well.
Because I think I still put Kershaw at 5.
Kershaw at 5. Well,
I think because if you looked at Jack Flaherty,
I disagree with you putting Jack Flaherty all the way at 4 right now. I got him in my top 10.
I do, because he has been so unbelievable. I mean, did you see him in the second half last year? He was basically untouchable.
He was, but
he was having a Pedro Martinez like second half.
Better than Justin Verlander, better than Steven Strasburg, better than.
He was better in the second half than those guys. He wasn't better all year. He wasn't better all year, which is the knock on him. He kind of had a little bit of a rougher start than the rest.
It's been 1 year.
He was great the year before.
Yeah, but he's not in the top.
Just personally, just as a personal top 5, I have Flaherty at 4.
What does that mean? I want your all right. I want your top 5 pitchers in the MLB right now.
I think just from a pure pitching standpoint, just as a pitcher looking at pitchers, who I think the top 5 most talented guys that are executing at the moment.
Give me your top 5 pitchers.
DeGrom automatically number 1. DeGrom number 1, and it's not close.
Yep.
DeGrom is the best pitcher in baseball. He is so talented. He reminds me so much of Pedro Martinez. He's just that good. Then it's Scherzer. He's been so dominant for so long. And he's still keeping up the same level of dominance.
1 and 2.
Then it's Cole. As long as Cole can stay at that level, he's number 3. Then for me, it's Flaherty. Then Kershaw. Then Verlander. Kershaw's drop-off is better than almost everybody in baseball. That's the crazy part. His drop-off is better than everybody in baseball. So that's the scary part. If he can be healthy, he's fine.
I could see Kershaw being at 5 or 6. But not Flaherty.
I have him slightly higher than Verlander, and I have Flaherty ahead of the 2 of them.
Here. Oh, man. Oh, boy.
I just love Jack Flaherty as a pitcher. He's so talented. His stuff is amazing. He pitched just unbelievably for the second half.
Better than Justin Verlander is.
Right after Verlander, I have Sale. And then after that, I probably have Strasburg.
You got Strasburg low, man. He had a great season. He was the World Series MVP.
He had a great season, but if Sale's healthy,
well, we don't know if they're going to win. I don't know if they win.
If those 7 ahead of him are healthy, they're better than him. That's the thing.
All right, I'm gonna give you my.
Never had a year where he's just like automatic Cy Young candidate.
But no, because he can't stay healthy. When he's healthy, he's incredible. I'm gonna give you my top 5. I agree with 1, 2, 3. You got DeGrom. I mean, he's been so dominant the last 3 years. He's better than Scherzer. So
yeah,
I got to give DeGrom 1. I got Scherzer right behind him. It's very close. Don't act like it's not close. It's close. Trust me. 3.
What, DeGrom and Scherzer?
Yeah, I think DeGrom and Scherzer is really close, but I'm giving DeGrom number 1.
I don't know how close it is for me. I think I put DeGrom ahead, like a solid amount ahead. Not a crazy amount. It's not huge, but it's sizable for me.
Okay, I completely disagree with that. But so those are my 1 and 2. 3, I agree. Garrett Cole, he's extremely dominant, especially after last year. I mean, when I was watching last year, my eyes were just like, wow, he is an unhittable pitcher. He's got heat. He's got movement on his pitches. I think he got snubbed of a Cy Young, in my opinion. I really did. I really think his second half was so great. So I would give him the Cy Young. So I got him at 3. I got his teammate right behind there. I mean, you just want a Cy Young, and he's still pitching really well. I got Verlander, and I'm keeping Career into this, and he's still pitching really well, and he's aging. And then I got at 5, I got Strasburg. That's debatable, but I think when he's on and he's healthy, he is so dominant. And especially after what he did last year, it's really hard to not keep him out of the top 5 or 6. And then I got I'm going to keep going. So those are my top 5. I got DeGrom, Scherzer, Cole, Verlander, Strauss. You can debate Verlander at 4, but I really don't think you can take him out of the top 5 yet. And then 6, I still have Clayton Kershaw. Career-wise, definitely built into this, but also kind of right now stage. I think he's declining a little bit, and I think he's going to get overthrown on the Dodgers by Walker Buehler. So I got Kershaw at 6, and then I got his teammate again right behind him.
Okay.
I got Walker Buehler at 7. He's already a stud. Not much I can say there. I mean, he's got everything you would want in a pitcher. His stats are really good. He's a great pitcher. And then I got Flaherty at 8, which is not disrespect. That's really not bad.
No, not at all. Saying you're a top 10 pitcher in the MLB is never disrespectful in any way.
I think he's only been really good 1 year, and it's really hard to put me ahead of those 7. I'm not counting Chris Sale right now because I think when healthy, Chris Sale's a top 5, but he's not healthy.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
I'm going to – because he hasn't pitched, okay? He's had Tommy John, so I'm taking him out.
When healthy for me, Chris Sale's in that 3 or 4 range.
I got him at right now. I don't know. I don't know where I'd put him right. I think when he's healthy, he's top 5.
I have him at 7 right now, just because of his health.
I don't even include him right now. He hasn't pitched in a while. So I can't include him right now. Yeah, so I got DeGrom at 1, Scherzer, Cole. I got Verlander and Strasburg in the top 5. And then outside the top 5 is Kershaw for me at 6, Walker Buehler at 7, Flaherty at 8. And then, 9 and 10, there's a lot of debate. You can go like Mike Clevinger. You could go when healthy, Luis Severino. But there's a lot of debate there.
For me, my top 5. I already said it.
I disagree
I
with.
have no problem. I have no problem with your top 5.
He's very good. He's very good, but 4th.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know if I have a problem with your top 5 at all. I have a problem with putting Severino at 9 or 10 in that range.
I'm just saying if he's healthy, I think he can.
I've only seen 12 starts basically where Severino was amazing.
You're right.
And even when he's been healthy, towards the end of the year last year, he was healthy and he just wasn't that good. He was a solid number 2 in my eyes. But my 6 and my 6 through 10 would be Verlander 6, Sale 7. Yeah, Verlander 6, Sale 7.
I also have Zach Greinke. I think Zach Greinke's in the top 10, and maybe Patrick Corbin.
I have Greinke at 10.
But it's tough. It's close. I feel like the top
8 is 8 and Nola at 9.
You got Nola at 9? I mean, I love the Phillies.
Nola at 9.
I don't know if Nola's in the top 10. It might be.
I have Nola. I have a group of Nola, Mike Clevinger, Shane Bieber, that group at 9 and 10. Just a mix of them. I probably would pick Nola just because he's been better throughout. He did have that really, really rough patch last year, I think it was, towards the beginning, where he just wasn't himself. But I think he'll be better in general. But yeah, as soon as the top 8 ends, there's a lot of debate as to what that 9 through 15 is.
It is. But I just can't see Flaherty at 4.
That's just a personal thing. I saw so much in that second half.
I think he's great, but I'm just not putting him ahead that high yet.
I mean, for me, that second half was better than Jake Arrieta's second half. That 1 year when he was unbelievable, and he won the Cy Young. Flaherty was that good. Plus, his lineup wasn't great. Arrieta's lineup that year was absolutely amazing. And so Flaherty was pitching in a lot tighter games. So I just that pressure and being able to pitch at that level is just scary.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a personal pick for me. I have no problem with putting Verlander at 4, honestly. Um, I just have a lot of trouble dropping Flaherty out of my top 5 just because he's so talented.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. Well, we'll stop with baseball there. We'll definitely talk more about it soon. Hopefully, they'll have a plan in place soon to get this season back on, and hopefully, we won't have to wait until April to
Mhm.
see more baseball. Um, but on to football. We
Football.
have the 2017 draft class, I believe, of quarterbacks. Forget Josh Rosen, or 2018 draft class. Um, Forget Josh Rosen. He doesn't really count anymore. He's started like 12 games in total. He's just not good. Um, I think he has the talent to be good. He just needs to be coached up right. He's had 2 really rough areas of coaching.
Mhm.
But we have the other 3, the big 3-headed monster of that draft: Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. Um, this one was tougher for me.
Oh, this is a
Coming
close one. This is a nail
coming
biter.
into the draft, I had a clear number 1, and that was Josh Allen for me. I loved Josh Allen coming out of college. I get it; he has accuracy issues, and we've definitely seen
Huge
him.
accuracy issues. He's the most inaccurate quarterback in the NFL, but he has one of the strongest
That's
arms in
the
the
main
NFL
knock
behind
on him.
Mahomes and Matt Stafford.
That's the main knock on Josh Allen is his accuracy issues, and
Don't
that's a
say
fixable thing.
that's extremely important. You got to be accurate.
No,
Like
it
Drew
is
Brees
very
is
important, but
extremely
they give away a
accurate,
lot of
but he
the.
doesn't have much of an arm. We and you both know Drew Brees is accurate, but his arm strength is just weak. But
No,
he's
you're
still.
right. He doesn't have elite arm strength, but he has
But it doesn't
amazing
matter.
accuracy.
He's
But
so
the big thing
accurate.
for
He
Josh
makes
Allen is if you surround him with good quality receivers who know what they're doing, who can make big plays, like a John Brown, who's just as solid as they come, just makes the catch and makes plays after he gets the ball in his hands. And now you had Stephon Diggs, who's a massive big play threat. Um, just piles up yards whenever he gets the ball in his hands. Um, they drafted a couple guys who are big play guys. Um, I like that offense, and I'm starting Josh Allen. I think he's the most talented of the 3. He's the best leader. He came in there right away and got the starting job. Looked great. His rookie year, he wasn't perfect. Nobody really is their rookie year. Um, but he improved his accuracy a solid amount. He's got more to work with this coming year. His talent just speaks volumes, though. He has got, I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if they came out and said he's bionic in his right arm. I mean, that thing is a missile launcher. He just throws absolute piss missiles down the field to
Yes,
his receivers. I'm surprised they haven't broken their hands trying to
it's
catch him.
just he's not accurate. Like he
He's
can have
not,
a
but
strong arm, but you need to be accurate with it. Okay,
no, you're completely right.
this is where I think
But
he's not a top 10 quarterback because he can't. He's so
I think he
inaccurate. He's
will
got
be.
a great arm. I think he's got the 3rd strongest arm behind Mahomes and Matt Stafford. But
I
the
would argue
accuracy
he might even have a
is
stronger arm than Stafford. And Stafford has an amazing arm. That's his big
that's
thing.
debatable.
But the problem is
That,
Stafford's
that that's
much
that's a,
more accurate.
that's yeah, that makes for a good
That's the
argument.
big
You
difference.
could you could say it.
Stafford's much more accurate. That's where the argument becomes a little bit moot. Is he's much more
And
accurate than
yeah,
Josh Allen is. Um,
yeah.
but Sean McDermott is a great coach. He's been working with him really, really well. He looks great. He seems to really have a handle on that team, so I'm definitely starting him. And I'm benching Baker. I love Baker. I'm an Ohio State fan, and I love Baker. It sucked watching him in college plant the flag and show off and stuff. And I thought he was a bit of an ass, but it's not even being an ass. It's just swagger. He knows he's been discounted his whole life. He had to walk on. He had to prove how good he was. Then he went and won a Heisman just right away. Won a Heisman in Oklahoma. Looked amazing. Got the number 1 draft pick. As a guy who's a little bit undersized, his leadership, you can't knock that. He is a great leader. And I think in this offseason, you've really, really seen it. People have tried to interview him and try and get that swagger on tape, and he's just basically told them, "No, not this summer. I'm putting the work in. I'm not having a repeat of last year. We're going to be great, and I'm going to be the guy that gets us there." He's figured it out perfectly. He's still super talented, and he's got one of the best offensive cores around him. They fixed the offensive line. They got a brand new coach who's definitely a better coach than Freddie Kitchens. Um, so I'm benching him, and I'm cutting Sam Darnold. And I like Darnold. I think he's really talented. I think Adam Gase is a horrible head coach. and that's going to hold him back from being how good
Yeah,
he really needs to
I
be.
agree.
But I think
Underrated.
Darnold's like 21 still in his going
What
into his third
improved?
year. He's so young, tons of room to
He's
improve.
not bad. I
And
agree
I
with you
mean,
on this one. A lot of
I
people will
hate the
disagree
fact
because his
that the
stats are
Jets
pretty.
looked good with him. He looked
Yeah,
good the rest of the year. He
yeah,
really did.
yeah.
When he came back from mono, they won a lot of games. They had the best record in the AFC East for the games he was back in. Um, he looked good. I'm not going to say the Jets look great because I think Adam Gase will hold them back from winning big games no matter what.
Yeah,
I just
he's got to go.
he's definitely got to go. And I mean, the good sign is for Darnold is his talent speaks for itself. So either Gase gets rid of Darnold and Darnold goes and kicks ass somewhere else, or Gase leaves. Because if they suck, they're going to fire Gase. They're not going to trade him because they're going to know exactly who the problem is. Um, so I think if they can get Gase out of there, Darnold might jump to number one on these three. But for now, I'm going to cut him.
Yep. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this. You really kind of just hit everything on the head, like what I was thinking. I'm gonna start Josh Allen. I think he's just the best out of those three. He's the most talented. Got a great arm. Accuracy's not there. There's a little bit in each of these quarterbacks that'll just hold that just like puts him out of the top 10, range.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I feel like you got to start Josh Allen. He's going to be on a winning team. Probably win the
More than
division.
likely, yeah.
Um, I don't think it'll be close. So got to start Josh Allen. Great arm, good talent. Oh, good on his feet. Very
Mm-hmm.
good on his feet too.
Oh
So I'm
yeah,
starting
runs
Josh
like a
Allen.
deer for a huge guy.
Yeah. I'm gonna bench Baker. We've seen Baker. We've seen what Baker can do. He's not a bad quarterback, but he's not a great one. We've seen how he can perform. We saw him perform the second half of his rookie season, I think, and he was pretty good.
Yeah.
But last year he was pretty bad. I know he had a bad coach, but he still had good weapons. So I can't really say he's that great. I think he can win comeback player of the year. Yeah, I think he's better than Sam Darnold. We could agree with that, so I agree. I'm benching Mayfield, and then I'm going to cut Sam Darnold. He just hasn't proved much. His stats are pretty crappy, but I think he's an underrated quarterback. He's in a very bad system, a very bad team, very bad coach, bad receivers. But I agree with you. I think he's talented. He just hasn't got his opportunity to shine, but I do think he's underrated. So I'm starting Josh Allen, benching Baker, and cutting Sam Darnold.
I completely agree. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. Josh Allen's clearly the best athlete of the three. He's got the best arm. He's got the best surrounding cast in my eyes. Because I think the Bills have a better defense than the Browns do. But I mean, that could change. The Browns have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. But we'll get more into that a little bit later on in the episode when we talk about the playoff picture. But for now, let's go to Mentor's Corner. We have another list coming at everybody. So what are we doing today?
I'm gonna give you my top 5 tight ends in the NFL. Honorable mentions go out to Hunter Henry, Evan Ingram, Austin Hooper, and Gronk. Those are my honorable mentions. Coming to number 5, I got the Oakland Raiders tight end Darren Waller. Why? He plays like a wide receiver. I mean, he had over 1,100 yards this year, I think. I'm pretty sure 90 receptions. He's got great agility, probably best tight end with agility. He's got a lot of potential, but he's only done it for 1 year, so I'm going to put him at number 5. I really like him, the way he plays the game. His overall athleticism, plays like a wide receiver. He's at number 5. Coming to number 4, you might debate this. I got Mark Andrews. I think Mark Andrews, he's coming off a 10 touchdown season, and that's pretty hard for a tight end. I only think he's going to get better. He's got an MVP quarterback. He's in a great system, great coach, great offense, a top 5 offense. And I think he's overall just a great tight end. So he's 4. Number 3, I got Zach Ertz, Philadelphia Eagles. My Philadelphia Eagles, Zach Ertz, we've seen what he can do. He's a great route running tight end. He can always get open. He's put up great stats the last 3 years. He's an amazing tight end. It's really hard to keep him out of the top 3. He's number 3. Number 2, I got George Kittle. George Kittle is just overall fantastic. Great blocker, great speed, great route runner. Big part of why his team made it to the Super Bowl, other than his defense. Leader of that San Francisco 49ers offense. You can see when he plays, he's got one of the best overall games in the NFL from the tight end position. And number 1, I'm going Travis Kelce. He's put up the best stats the last 3 years from the tight ends position. He was 4th in the NFL in receiving yards as a tight end. That's extremely impressive. He's got a great quarterback, the best quarterback, and I think he's definitely the best tight end when it comes to catching, and he's got the best hands from a tight end, no debate. He's number 1.
Yeah, I mean, you surprised me because I thought you were going to be a lot different with that top 5. I don't know if I have any arguments for the top 5. I think another honorable mention would be Noah Fant. Was so good as a rookie. Led all rookies.
He's got potential. I think he's got the most potential when it comes to tight ends. But I
completely agree. I did not think you would say that. I think him.
I just don't think he's a top 10
and Mike Gesicki are that big 3 of young tight ends who have so much talent.
No, I just don't think he's a top 10 tight end yet. But I think he's got the most potential from the tight end position. I agree. He's good. But what else do you think of the top 5? I like the top 5.
I might I would switch Austin Hooper with Waller.
Really?
I think personally, because I think
I'm Waller also looking at this going forward too. You see the way Waller plays? I mean, he
Waller's 20. Waller's 27. Hooper's 25. Hooper's got 2 more years. He was amazing the last 2 years. He was so good. And Waller's only had 1 year, and I get he had a monster year last year. He really did. But personally, I'd put Hooper over Waller. Other than that, I mean, I wouldn't have any argument with switching Andrews with Ertz, especially for an age type thing looking forward. Because Ertz is 29. He's getting up there. Kelce, I think, in the next year will be passed by George Kittle with ease. He'll be going into 32. He's had so many surgeries and injuries in his career that really slowed him down at the beginning, and he's just going to be worn down soon with the load he's been taking. So if we're talking about future, I would switch Kittle with Kelce and I'd switch Ertz with Andrews. But if we're talking about last year,
I might even now. I don't know how you can. I can see the debate for George Kittle being the best right now, and definitely for the future, of course.
For the future, he's the number 1.
You think George Kittle is the best tight end?
Personally, yeah.
I'm not going to knock.
When you have Mahomes throwing,
I think when you look at the stats, you can't really. Yeah, when you look at the stats and just, got to go Kelce. He's also a Super Bowl champion.
But I mean.
And what he did in the playoffs this year was unbelievable. Travis Kelce.
No, he was great, but he's also in a heavy pass offense, whereas Kittle's in a more run-heavy offense. Much better quarterback for Kelce. That's not a knock on Garoppolo. Garoppolo's a great quarterback, but he's not Pat Mahomes. That's for damn sure. And so I feel like
game manager
putting up those stats. Putting up those stats in a run-heavy offense, where you also had Manny Sanders and Deebo Samuel having great years.
Yeah.
I also think he's much more talented than Kelce is. He's a much better blocker. He's more tenacious as a blocker. So I would put him at number 1. I would put Kelce at 2 for now. I think he gets passed by a couple of guys within the next year and a half. I think Kelce's just going to start sliding down the board very quickly just because of his age. He's 31, I believe.
Kelce, though. Kelce, I mean, he's still got Mahomes. Mahomes loves Travis Kelce.
But if he gets up in that 33, 34,
that's his first option.
Yeah, but I mean, look what happened to Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen was amazing, and then age hit him hard. As a tight end, I mean, you're taking a beating as a blocker and a receiver. That's the thing. His injuries caught up to him. His age caught up to him. He started getting these weird little injuries. I mean, he hurt his foot on a really janky play where he just, if I remember correctly, he just got hit and his foot kind of just slipped out and injured really badly for like 9-10 weeks. And I think we'll start to see that stuff happening to Kelsey. And if we don't, that's great, especially for the Chiefs. I mean, then we'll have one of the best tight ends going forward still. But um, I could definitely see Kittle easily passing him. Andrews getting in there. Even Ertz maybe for a year passing him. But they're pretty close in age. So other than that, though, I mean, as of right now, the top five doesn't seem too bad.
Nice.
No. But staying in the football world, the
Last
NFL
topic.
is the NFL has changed. So much switched. Um, I mean, we saw some of the biggest quarterbacks switch destinations, but they've been with for so many years. It's a new NFL. Everything's going to be different. The Patriots seem vulnerable for the first time in 20 years, and that's definitely an eye-opening thing for the NFL. So many guys retooled. So many teams are going in different routes than they've been going in. So when it comes to the NFL playoff picture, especially with a new playoff structure, there's 7 teams from each conference going in. For me, there's 2 divisions, one in the AFC and one in the NFC, that might send 3 teams to the playoffs this year. But I don't know. What do you have for your AFC picture?
All right, I'm gonna go 7 up to 1. All right, for the AFC. For the AFC, at the 7th seed, a lot of people might disagree with me on this. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers. People might have them. People might think that's too low. That defense is great, but when you look at that offense, you cannot tell me that is a playoff team. That offense is so bad. I know Big Ben's coming back, but he's coming back off injury. He's old. He's fat. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be as dominant as he was. I don't know if he's he's going to get sacked a lot, I feel like. So I really am not high on them, but I feel like the AFC is so weak that I'm going to put them in there. I mean, when I look at that offense, I'm like, damn, that's a nice 6-10 team. But then you got to include the defense is really good. I just don't see Big Ben making a big difference maker. James Conner, I mean, he's injury prone. We don't know if he's going to stay on the field. Juju's not a true number 1. I mean, he needs a stud in front of him, for him to be good. And Chase Claypool, he can be good, but we haven't seen that yet. So he's number 7. I'm going to go through this a little quickly. At 6, you're going to like this one. I got the Denver Broncos. I think that offense has improved a lot. I think it's young, and I think it's something to be reckoned with. And that defense still has Von Miller and some other good guys. That offense is good with those 2 running backs, and the receivers and Noah Fant. Not big high on Drew Lock, but not so great quarterbacks who make the playoffs. Number 5, I got the Browns. New coach. I think they're gonna be a winning football team. They just needed a new coach. I think Baker and OBJ are going to be 2 comeback player of the year candidates. Nick Chubb's incredible. Jarvis Landry's great. 2 great tight ends, or 1 great tight end, 1 tight end who can't stay healthy and unproven. Austin Hooper's really good, and Njoku, he's young, but we haven't really seen much of him. And that defense isn't bad. They got some good pass rushers like Myles Garrett. So I got them at 5. At number 4, I got the Titans. It was tough between the Titans and the Colts, but I got to go with the Titans. The AFC South's really weak. Okay, I think the Texans are going to take a big drop. I think the Titans are a solid team, but I think they were, in my opinion, last year, I think they were the most overrated team, to make it that far. Ryan Tannehill is not that great. Derrick Henry's amazing, but I think they're going to win that division. I think the Texans take a big step back, and I think they're going to win it slightly over the Colts. Number 3, I got the Buffalo Bills. I think they're going to win that division with ease this year with the Patriots. I think taking a huge step down, not making the playoffs. And their defense is top 5 still. I think, Tre'Davious White, Ed Oliver, Espinoza, I think guys like that. I think they're going to get the 3 seed. At the 2 seed, I got the Baltimore Ravens. I don't think they're going to go 14-2 again, but I could see them going 12-4, 13-3. They got a very easy schedule this year, except for their division. Their division's tough. So I think they split a game with the Browns and probably the Steelers, honestly. I can see them splitting a game. I just think they're an incredible team, So I'm going to give them the 2 seed. And I'm going Super Bowl champs at the 1 seed. Powerhouse team. Really hard to stop them. great offense. Not much I can say there. Patrick
Mhm.
Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelsey, pretty good O-line. Some good guys on defense. Like they got good D tackles like Chris Jones. Um,
Mhm.
Amazing team. Can't really say anything. I got to give them the 1 seed.
Yeah,
How are you? Can't
I'm a
wait to
little bit different. I have a
Oh,
few. I have a few different teams. Um, so at 7, I'm fine with saying the Steelers. I just don't trust Juju to be a legit number 1 receiver. I don't trust Big Ben at 38 coming off an injury.
yeah, I feel like you
I
got to
don't
put them
really.
in there because they went 8-8 with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. I mean, they're getting Big
Yeah,
Ben, who's when he's healthy, he's a top 15 quarterback in my eyes. But
I don't like their run game being led by James Conner though.
yeah,
Um, I,
that's
I I don't really like James Conner as a running back. I think he's solid, but he's nothing special. He's definitely not Le'Veon Bell.
he's overrated.
I don't think Juju's anything like Antonio Brown. Their offensive line isn't as good as it used to be. It's getting older.
Who's your number 7? Give me your list.
I have the New England Patriots, and hear me
Oh,
out. Look, it
God.
seems crazy. They lost a lot. They lost Tom Brady.
You
They lost Kyle
how
Van
they
Noy. They
had
lost Jamie
Jarrett
Collins.
Stidham.
Listen, just let me explain. So Jarrett Stidham coming into the draft was looked at as a possible late first round pick, early second round pick. This was not a guy who was graded as a fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh round pick. So many scouts had him just based off arm talent as a first rounder. Tons of them had him based just off mental ability as a first rounder. He's a very, very smart quarterback. He studies everything. Um, his work ethic is off the charts. He's a great leader. Um, and look, I'm not saying he's going to come in and be all pro, but I think he can get the job done for a Bill Belichick offense. And I get it. On paper, the receivers don't look that great. Julian Edelman all of last year was hurt. He came out of the year, had multiple surgeries to fix himself up because he was injured the entire year. N'Keal Harry was injured for most of the year. Jacoby Myers was getting used to the NFL. Mohamed Sanu was hurt the entire year. He had surgery right after the season ended. Their entire offensive line was injured. Their entire offensive line was injured. Their center was out for most of the year.
Just don't
Their
have the
left guard
talent.
was their left guard was out the entire year. Their offensive line, when healthy, is one of the best in the league. So
What?
they'll be healthy now.
Okay, man,
They'll
I
be
can
healthy. Isaiah Wynn, Joe Tooney, David Andrews, Marcus Cannon.
That's not
It's a great starting 5. They're so strong. They'll protect Jarrett Stidham. Their running back group is awesome when healthy. Sonny Michel was not healthy last year. James White is getting up there in age. I get that, but Damian Harris is a great third running back. Super talented. Great to take carries away from the two guys and
6.
keep them going. But if you look at last year, they went 12-4 with an older version of Brady throwing to nobody because everyone was injured, with an offensive line that was completely injured. That whole offense was terrible. That whole offense was hard to watch because all of them were hurting. None of them were healthy. And the defense was amazing. And I don't think the defense took as big of a hit as everyone's saying. I mean, Kyle Van Noy is getting up there in age, so is Jamie Collins. We replaced them with 2 hybrid extreme athletes as young players who haven't seen an NFL field yet. And if Belichick can move his magic, led by Dante Hightower and Stephon Gilmore, J.C. Jackson, Jason and Devin McCourty, that defense will be a top 3 defense easy in the league if Anthony Jennings and Josh Uche work out well.
Keep going. Go up.
Don't even forget about Chase Winovich, who's amazing. He played
Okay,
so well.
get it. Pass 7. We will debate this as
a perfect pick at 7. 6 pick, I have the Cleveland Browns. I think they're going to be amazing this year compared to what they were last year. Started out 2-6, finished off the year fairly well. They got rid of Kitchens. That's what they needed to do. I think this is going to be a flip the switch, automatic. They're going to be great. No explanation really needed. At 5, I have the Denver Broncos. I love the Broncos this year. I mean, I'm not going to really say his nickname. If you want me to, I will. But the King, Drew Lock himself, he's going to be great. He's surrounded by such a loaded offense. They're young. They have such a massive upside. And look, I get it. They're unproven, but Melvin Gordon is proven. He's amazing. You know, Cortland Sutton is proven. He's great. Noah Fant had a great rookie season, and tight ends that start really well tend to end really well. So we'll see how he grows, but he's so athletic. He worked so well with Drew Lock. So I love this offense, and their defense is nothing to snuff at too. I mean, their pass rush is amazing with Bradley Chubb and Von Miller. At 4, I have the Indianapolis Colts. I think this is their window before Jacob Eason probably takes over. Philip Rivers has never had an offensive line this good. ever. And he's performed with much worse offensive lines. The quarterbacks coach, I believe, with the Colts was his quarterbacks coach in um, San Diego before they went to LA. It's a perfect fit. He's got a lot of talent at the receiver position with Michael Pittman, with T.Y. Hilton in probably his last year of production. Paris Campbell's going to be back healthy. Good running backs with Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor, and Nyheim Hines. And I mean, a good tight end core with Jack Doyle for probably his last year of productivity too. So this is their window. I think they're going to put pedal to the metal. They've got a great defense led by Darius Leonard. So I have them at 4, winning that division pretty handily. I have the Buffalo Bills at 3. I think they're going to go 12-4, 11-5 in that range. I like the Bills. Really, really stout defense. No superstars really, other than Tre'Davious White, who's just amazing in that secondary, and then Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. The pass rush, they just loaded up with AJ Epinesa now, added to it to just such a high depth pass rush in front seven. So I mean, they're just so talented top to bottom. I have the Ravens at 2, super talented. Won 14 games last year. I think they'll take a little bit of a step back. I think teams will start to figure out Lamar Jackson a little bit more. Not to say he's not going to be good. I think he's going to be amazing still, but I think they'll start to kind of take it apart. And then the Chiefs at number 1, of course. No explanation really needed. They're the Super Bowl champions. Can't really put them any lower. They're returning 11 of their 12 starters on offense. No explanation really needed.
Yeah, I agree with 1, 2, and 3. I can see where you're coming from with the Colts. I really don't hate your list except for 7. We're going to get into that in a few minutes, in a minute or two. I mean, I could see the Colts winning it. I don't think they are. Philip Rivers had a lot of weapons last year, and he wasn't good. So I don't, and he has less weapons.
Offensive line fell apart in the first week.
That's true. So I think that could help him. I think the Titans are going to win that division. They're a little, well, it's tough. I'm taking the Titans. Yeah, the Broncos at 5. That's fine. They, really talented team. They could be doing big things. Browns at 4. I don't like the biased. I really don't. I just don't know how, as a Patriots fan, you look at that offense. I don't care if it's done. Yes, it is.
No, it might be. Look, it might be slightly biased, and I get that I'm a Patriots
very biased.
fan,
I mean,
but
they have a great system with a great coach,
what they have,
but the talent is just not there. That is not a playoff team.
look, if you look at the injuries they had to go through last year,
I'm really surprised you didn't see the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I had the Pittsburgh Steelers. I literally have it written down. Patriots or Steelers. I have it either way. Either one makes sense to me. The Steelers wide receiver group following Juju is unanswered, really. It's 3 high talent guys who didn't really put it together. Deontay Johnson led all rookies in receptions last year, so he looked really good. But I just don't trust a 38-year-old quarterback.
Are you trying to sit him to make the playoffs?
I'm not saying I trust him more than Ben Roethlisberger, but Roethlisberger is not known as a high-level off-season workout guy. He comes in kind of out of shape usually into, OTAs and stuff like that. So either way, I could see it happening for sure. But if you just look at what the Patriots had to go through last year, Brady was a little bit banged up. He was on the injury report every week with his shoulder. He was having to deal with such ridiculous turnover at the wide receiver position. They started with Antonio Brown, Josh Gordon, Julian Edelman, all healthy together, with a first-round pick in N'Keal Harry, who's so uber talented coming up, who then got injured. Then Edelman started to get injuries. Then Antonio Brown got, obviously let go because he's an absolute nut job. And then Josh Gordon got let go. So Brady didn't have any consistency at receiver. The whole team didn't have any consistency at receiver, which is what you need to make a game plan, because you need to know who's going out on the field that you're going to game plan with. And they didn't know that the entire year.
Tell me that they're going to make the playoffs. I don't understand.
I'm looking at it. Look at when the Broncos won the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler as their quarterbacks. Manning was horrible.
Still,
but his defense. But no, he was not still Peyton Manning that year. He was awful. he was atrocious. He was one of the bottom 5 quarterbacks in the league that year. Thing was, his defense was amazing, and his coach was very good. This defense is just as talented, probably more talented from an athletic standpoint than that Broncos defense. They're loaded with depth. They have the best cornerback in the entire league. They have arguably the best secondary in the entire league. Their front seven is loaded with athleticism that Bill Belichick can just plug and play on every play he needs to. Their defense is going to carry them in my eyes. But with N'Keal Harry getting a second year, a fully healthy year hopefully, Jacoby Myers flashed some great athleticism as a 3 or 4. Mohamed Sanu is going to come back healthy in a system that they've been wanting him for years. He has been mentioned in trades. He has been mentioned in free agency with them 100 times over. They finally got their guy. He's finally healthy again. Julian Edelman is an amazing leader. We know that. He's proven it. He'll be healthy, hopefully, starting at the beginning of the season. That's a solid receiver group for upside. N'Keal Harry is a first-round pick. He was graded as one of the best receivers in that class. He is so talented with a jump ball. Stidham can literally just march the ball down the field with the run game and then just pop little drop balls into the corners with N'Keal Harry, and he will rack up the touchdowns. I like that offense in a way that not a lot of people are looking at it. The offensive line is great. If they're healthy, that offensive line is going to keep Stidham protected. The run game is going to work well. They can rely on that and their defense, and the passing game will be just fine. It's not going to be outstanding. It's not going to be bottom 2, though. It'll be in that mid-range for me, and that's going to get it done as a playoff team. Their division's tough. It's a young, up-and-coming division with a lot of talent. So that's where it's going to become an issue, I think. I don't think it's a lack of talent on the Patriots. I think it's going to be a divisional issue.
Yeah, I disagree. I think it is lack of talent. But we can move on to the NFC now. You want me to give my NFC?
Go for it.
All right. Number 7, got them Dallas Cowboys. Their offense is just insane. And their secondary is a little rough, but they still have a good front 7 and good inside linebackers like Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch, DeMarcus Lawrence on the defensive line. So their defense isn't that awful. Their offense is it's incredible. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Zeke, great, pretty good offensive line still. Zach Martin, Leo Collins, Tyron Smith if he's healthy. And then there's Dak. Dak's Dak. Dak's just okay. But I don't think Mike McCarthy's that what was I gonna say? I don't think Mike McCarthy is that much of an upgrade for a coach, but it's better than Jason Garrett being a puppet. So, and it's tough putting the Cowboys at 7 as wild card spot because there hasn't been a back-to-back NFC East champion in 10 years. That's why it scares me. But I think it's going to come down to the Eagles and the Cowboys in Week 16, and I just like our chances taking the division. So I got Cowboys at 7. I got the Buccaneers at 6. I can't really look at that offense and just be like, wow, they're going to struggle. That offense is incredible. Tom Brady and Gronk, I can see something special happening there. I really do. And Mike Evans, Chris Godwin are incredible wide receivers. Tom Brady, he's not that good anymore, but that offense is going to really help him. And the defense, it's a little shaky, but it's not bad. They got some studs. So see them making a playoff run. Number 5, I got the Seattle Seahawks. DK Metcalf's going to have a great second year. I think Will Dissly's an underrated tight end. Russell Wilson's the top 3 quarterback in football. They're led by a great coach. Defense is a little, it's okay. That offense is nice. Great run game, great receivers, underrated tight end, great quarterback, great coach. They're in a tough division, but I think they're a good team, very solid team. At 4, I got my Philadelphia Eagles. That was a tough one to put them or the Dallas Cowboys because NFC East champion hasn't happened in 10 years. But I think the Eagles have a very talented offense. Okay, we have a great quarterback. I think a really underrated running back in Miles Sanders. Zach Ertz is really good. I don't even want to get started with our O-line. I think it's incredible. Our right side, Jason Kelce, Brandon Brooks, Lane Johnson. That's insane. They're all 3 of them. Yeah. Jason Kelce is the top at his position. Brandon Brooks is top 3 at his position. And I think Lane Johnson is the best at his position at right tackle. I really like our offense. Our defense upgraded with Jay Slay, who I think is still a great corner. A little rough season last year, but I still think he's a top 5-ish corner in the league.
Hmm.
Cox, Brandon Graham, really like the Philadelphia Eagles if they can stay healthy. And our receivers are fast as hell. As long as they stay healthy, which is going to be tough for G. Jackson, Marquise Goodwin, and Jeffrey. Honestly, all three of them. Like, please just
And
stay
Rager.
healthy. And Rager. We can see what Rager has.
Yep.
My 3 seed is very debatable. I'm probably going to get a lot of crap for this. I got the Green Bay Packers. I know they had an awful draft, but I still think they're going to win that division. I think they go like 10-6, just like the Eagles. I don't know. I don't think they literally lost anyone. They just had such a bad draft, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be so pissed off with the Packers. I don't think he's even going to finish his career there. I just think he's going to be so pissed off this year that it's going to make him play good. They still have Devontae Adams, who's a top 5 receiver. Aaron Jones is a touchdown machine. That offensive line is not bad. That defense is pretty good.
Mhm.
Matt LaFleur is a pretty good coach. I So I think they're going to go 10-6. That's a debatable one, but they still have that bad man. Number 2, I got the 49ers. They're overall just so talented on both sides. Offense, great run game, fastest running back in the league going at me. Raheem Mostert, I think he's the fastest. They lost Emmanuel, but they still have Debo, and they drafted a good guy. They still have a good offensive line, arguably the best tight end in football. Jimmy G is he's a good game manager, but he's not a talented quarterback. And that defense is best defense in the league. And Kyle Shanahan's a good coach again. And number
Mhm.
1, I'm going the New Orleans Saints. I think their offense is incredible. Drew Brees, he's getting a little old. His arm strength's not there, but his accuracy is still great. Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Jared Cook, Emmanuel Sanders. That team so talented. I think overall they're more talented than the Buccaneers. I think we can agree with that overall. And they still have good defense. Marshawn Lattimore, Cam Jordan. So they're my 1 seed.
Yeah.
You got to finish it off
Um,
tonight.
well, to finish off the episode, my 7 for the NFC is a bit different, just like the AFC was. Um, at 7, I have a mishmash of 3 teams, all from the NFC West.
Who's your 7?
Um,
I just want to know who you're clear. You got to give me a clear 7.
at 7, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go very different. I have the Arizona Cardinals at 7. I absolutely love this offense. I think Cliff Kingsbury is making an offense to just absolutely run the score up on people because he knows his defense isn't that amazing.
They're
Now,
going
he
to
added Isaiah Simmons, which was a great pick. That was a steal at where they got him. Absolute steal
still
for him to
the
fall
third
that
best
far.
defender in that draft, but
Well,
okay,
yeah, but this draft was so
I
top heavy with
I know.
defenders and just loaded with them. And he's amazing. They can put him wherever they want. He's going to help out that defense a lot. The defense isn't crazy good, but they do have one of the best pass rushers in Chandler Jones that he's now paired up with.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't count that defense out, and that offense is freakish. Great running back group, loaded at receiver, one of the best in the league at receiver. I have no trouble. I think the problem is they're in that division with the Rams, Seattle, and the Niners. So they're gonna have to jump the Rams and
I think
Seattle. I think in my eyes, they don't have to. They don't have to jump the Niners. Um, I have no problem with saying the Rams. I think that Seattle. There's a chance that the Seattle Seahawks finish 4th this year, and
in
that's
that division?
I think that division is all going to be
Well, you think
positive
they're going to
records.
finish last?
No, I said there's a chance. I don't think it'll happen. There
Chance.
is a
So
chance.
much better than the Rams. Oh
This
my God.
division is so loaded,
It,
and the Rams are healthy. They
they
addressed their offensive line.
really.
The
And
receivers
Jared
are
Goff is
great.
still Jared Goff. They have Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods and Higbee, but oh my
They
God.
have a good running back group. Cam Akers was rated as one of the top 5 running backs in that group by a lot of analysts. He's very, very talented. Darrell Henderson's a very talented running back for that group. They have a good 1-2 punch there. Very, very young and talented, so we'll see how it works. But Goff is good enough, and he's never been bad. His down year last year was still very good, and I think they bounced back, and that's where it's going to matter. So defense is still very, very
They
talented.
got the Cards at 7. Who you
They
got
have
at
the
6?
they have the best defensive player in the league. So that's why I think they could still jump the Seahawks, and the Seahawks might finish fourth. I don't think it'll happen, but they could. At 6, I have the Cowboys. Um, I don't think they win the division, but I think they'll still be a playoff team. They're ridiculously talented. They addressed their problems very, very well in the draft, sadly. They got CeeDee Lamb as an absolute steal where they got him. One of the best receiver groups in the league. And that's something that is going to absolutely hurt a lot of other teams when they have to go up against Zeke. And it's not like they can focus on one part of the offense because their air offense is going to be amazing too. So one of the best offensive lines in the league. It's not the same as it used to be, but it's still loaded. So I have them at 6. At 5, I have the Buccaneers. Brady and Gronk are back in a new uniform. Even better receivers around them now with Godwin and Evans. Good, solid running backs. I think Keyshawn Vaughn will end up taking over for Ronald Jones, but it could go the other way around. But either way, that's a great one too. Solid offensive line. They just got Tristan Wirfs, who in my eyes was the best offensive lineman in that draft. And so they added a new left tackle. Good offensive line, young, solid, good enough. Extremely talented defense. Extremely, very, very underrated on talent. Devin White, Shaquille Barrett, Antoine Winfield Jr. now, who I think is one of the best defenders that is one of the best safeties in the future. I think he will be. He's just so strong, so tenacious, ready to fight. Sean Murphy-Bunting, underrated. So I think that defense doesn't get enough credit, but it's going to be good. At 4, I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning that division. I think it's going to be a 2-man race between those two. But don't count out the Redskins. I think the Giants need another year to build. The Redskins only because that defense is freakishly loaded. Their offense is a problem.
That
Their
offense sucks ass, but I think that defensive line is very underrated. I'll say that.
They have 5 first-round picks on that front 7. That's scary. And they have Landon Collins in the back in the secondary.
And don't forget Ryan Kerrigan.
So, Ryan Kerrigan, I mean, that front 7 is freakishly talented.
It is.
Ron Rivera is a great defensive coach. The offense has the talent to be good. They just need an offensive line adjustment.
McLaurin's young, really fast, and Darius Geis can't stay healthy. Other than that.
Okay, McLaurin is much better than that. McLaurin is very, very talented. Great route runner. Catches so much that's thrown to him. If Haskins can take that extra step under Rivera, the offensive line just needs to perform in my eyes, and Geis needs to stay healthy. Other than that, I think they'll be fine. I'm not going to say they're going to win the division, but I think they'll be a pest that's causing a lot of issues for the Cowboys and the Eagles. But I have the Eagles winning it. Very, very talented defense. If they can stay healthy on offense, they'll win the division, plain and simple.
I know you're going to go here. Okay, but go at 3.
I have the Vikings at 3.
I knew you were going to say that. I completely disagree. Keep going.
Packers did not address any of their problems in the draft whatsoever. They didn't address them in free agency as far as I know. And the Vikings addressed everything they needed. They got rid of Diggs. They got a brand new young version. They got Justin Jefferson, who's a touchdown machine beside Adam Thielen. I mean, other than that, they added Jeff Gladney, so they have a new starting corner there, who's extremely talented. Most people don't think he should have dropped that far. Really, really great corner. They grabbed new tackles to make that offensive line good. They grabbed another corner in the 3rd round in Cameron Dantzler. Another wide receiver in KJ Osborne. Troy Dye at linebacker in the 4th round, who a lot of people had ranked much, much higher than that. Very, very talented linebacker out of Oregon. They addressed everything they needed. They got better. The Packers did not. And I think the Packers were a fluke at 12-4 last year. Rodgers isn't the same. They're a heavy run offense, and their second running back now in A.J. Dillon is just a straight as an arrow runner. He's just going to run through people. And he's not Derrick Henry, so it probably won't work for him with their offensive line. So I just have a lot of trouble having them even make the playoffs, let alone win the division. I think the Vikings do it, though. At 2, I have the Saints. Saints are ridiculously talented, amazing. The offense is clicking on all cylinders, even when Drew Brees isn't there. So I think they automatically are in that top 2. I have them at 2, though. Just because their defense is not what the Niners is.
True.
The 49ers at number 1 for me was easy. I wrote them in before I wrote any other team in. Um, yeah, Jimmy G is not a top 5 quarterback, but he's good enough to get it done in a very loaded offense that Kyle Shanahan has running. Very good offensive line, very talented receivers with Brandon Ayuk and Debo Samuel there. Great young pair. The running backs, they just got back Jerick McKinnon. I know they lost Matt Breida, but Tevin Coleman, Raheem Mostert, and Jerick McKinnon is a very, very talented
It's
1-2-3 in a
yeah.
heavy run offense.
Mhm.
They have George Kittle, in my eyes, best tight end in the league, just because he flourishes in a run heavy offense. Um, so I have them in number 1, just because I think coming off a Super Bowl berth, they're going to be hungry. They're going to want to get back there, and I mean they lost to Forrest Buckner, but they replaced him with Javon Kinlaw in the first round. So
Yeah.
it's not like they lost much.
Yeah, I mean, there's some parts where I disagree with this list. I mean, I really like the Saints at 1 and not 2 because they're just such a good regular season team. We've seen that. They're very good regular season. So I'm keeping them at 1, 49ers 2. I get it. The Packers draft did not help them at all.
Mhm.
I can see the case for them not winning the division and making the playoffs, but I think that bad man, Aaron Rodgers, look, he's still on 26
He's not
touchdowns,
him.
4 picks. But
He's not
he's
him anymore.
the
And he's
playoffs.
in a run heavy offense, which
And
he definitely doesn't like.
I know, but I just think his grit, I think his attitude towards how the Packers treated him in this draft, I think he's just gonna try and go off. And he still got Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, which is, I mean, you've seen it was good enough to they went 13-3, and that defense is still good. That offensive line's not bad, and they have a great
But I think it
coach.
was a fluke.
A fluke.
A lot of people agreed that
Jones
record was a fluke.
Aaron Jones leading the league in touchdowns for running backs, not a fluke. That's really
Yeah,
good.
he led the league in touchdowns, but there were
And
guys like
Devontae
Dalvin
Adams,
Cook
when he was
who also
healthy,
played very
especially those
few games
last
in the
3
last year.
games, Devontae Adams is incredible. You saw those last 3 games when he came back. He was
He's
great.
very, very good.
And you saw him in the
He's got to
playoffs
stay
against the
healthy.
Seattle Seahawks. Woo! He was great. I
He's
mean,
got to stay healthy, though, and they didn't address any of their problems. Their offensive line is not the same. They got worse.
Bakhtiari, who's in my eyes the best left tackle in the league.
No, fair. That's very fair. But
I know.
Rodgers was not himself last year. It's a run-heavy offense. They just drafted his replacement in the first round, which is either going to piss him off and make him amazing, or he's going to lie down and he's going to say, "Trade me." And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with his personality and his temperament if he basically just gives them a big screw you and just isn't himself and just gets really flustered by all this. So I'd put the Vikings ahead of them just because they upgraded at more positions. Um, they address their needs, and they're just going to be themselves again. And I think that's what matters.
I disagree, but it's not a bad argument. I like the Eagles at 4. I agree. Bucks at 5 is fine, and Cowboys at 6 is fine. But you got the Seahawks missing the playoffs. Why?
I don't know. I literally wrote down Cardinals, Rams, Seattle.
He's going to make that big of a difference. I mean, he's amazing, and I think they're going to be 9-7. I think they're going to be like 9-7, 8-8. I don't think they're going to.
It's not even just that it's Hopkins, but like they looked great down the stretch with Kyler learning it with Fitzgerald as his number 1. Now he's got arguably the best receiver in the league to throw to, who's so dynamic, and if he's healthy, he's going to change that entire offense. And I mean, look, they get Kenyon Drake for a whole year now. They get Kenyon Drake for a whole year. He'll be healthy. They drafted Eno Benjamin. There's going to be 2 NFC West teams at least in this playoff.
Yeah, I got the Seahawks.
The second one is behind the Niners. I went bold. I think the Cardinals could do it. I like Cliff Kingsbury as an offensive guy. I don't know how they'll do on defense.
The NFC's stacked, dude, and I think the Cardinals are good.
I agree.
But I think the Seahawks are better. I think Kyler's great, but I'd love to see him go into CenturyLink Field and try and beat that team. I don't see it happening.
I don't know. I mean, look,
CenturyLink,
the 2 guys who are getting the most sports bets for MVP in the league, Kyler Murray and Josh Allen. So a lot of people believe in Kyler. I mean, if he makes the 2 best, like the 2 most popular bets that they're getting are Kyler Murray and Josh Allen. it was reported that the two most heavily bet on guys for MVP for next year so far have been Josh Allen and Kyler Murray.
Dark horses? Because are you mean like
Just in
MVPs?
general,
That would be
highest,
to
most
Jackson.
bet on,
Oh,
most bet on for MVP. I don't think Jackson repeats.
he might. He's incredible.
I don't think so. I think more of the dark horses are, Matt Stafford from last year coming back. If he plays the same way, he'll win it. Phillip Rivers with a brand new offensive line could do it. Josh Allen with a fully new offense, just absolutely loaded now. Drew Lock could do it if everything falls perfectly. Baker Mayfield could do it. There's MVP is wide open now.
Yeah.
Because so many teams reloaded, so many teams got better. So it's just going to be whoever shines the most at this point, as usual, but in a wide open setting now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got right now. Yeah.
Same here. So we'll end the episode here. Before we go though, we gotta give a shout out to Matera Mulch, the best mulching company in America, locally made here, locally done. Call Nick Matera if you need your mulching done, if you need your yard done. Just call him. And if you do, and you drop the code MULCH20, that's MULCH20, you get 5% off. So what a deal! I mean, that's an amazing deal. He's happy, we're happy. Great guy. He'll get your mulch done perfectly. So call Matera Mulch if you need your mulching done. But other than that, guys, thank you for listening. I had fun tonight. Great episode. We'll see you again on Wednesday. We'll be talking more about the NBA's new structure and stuff like that. Can't wait for that. That'll be a fun episode. We'll have a guest on who you'll see then. But other than that, follow us on Instagram, DM_sports talk. Link will be in the description for our anchor, more than likely. If not, just search on any of your podcast apps, DM Sports Talk Network, and you'll find all of our episodes that you can play. Share them with your friends, post on your stories, let everybody know that the new podcast is the new up-and-coming podcast around here. Other than that, thanks, guys, and have a good night.
Thanks, everyone.